Hello and welcome to Luisa TV. Each week I'll be guiding you with tools and tips to live a passionate life and hopefully to offer you a little bit of passion and inspiration and perhaps some light entertainment. The theme for this week is, what if I just let it go? And what I mean by this, or what occurred for me this week, is I realized I'd been struggling. I'd been swimming upstream about an event that I wanted to happen or that I wanted to occur. I was pushing so hard with this and clenching so hard. I realized it was not making me happy and it was not really serving anything. I had done all I could to achieve this, and all I had to do was surrender. It's in these moments of surrendering, and my suffering was small in comparison to others, but it's in these moments of suffering when we have no choice, we have to surrender, we have to let go. And what I mean by that is not give up. It's certainly not a failure. In fact, the act of surrendering is opening your heart to vulnerability. It's a great strength. It's a great power. We often think if we cling so tightly to this thing or this place or this person that I want, that you'll achieve it even more, because if we let go, it means you didn't love. It means you didn't care enough. It means you didn't fight enough. You didn't fight to the death. So often we're told that the more we struggle, the more we'll achieve. The harder we work, the more we'll get. Well, I ask you to ask yourself the question, is this always the case? And what if I allowed a bit more softness into my life? What if I decided to swim downstream? What if I was more gentle with myself? What if life got easier? Instead, I was making it harder. You know, suffering is very valid, what we're experiencing, the pain. And some of you may be struggling and wondering where your next meal is going to come from, or some of you may not know how you're going to pay your mortgage. Some of you may be feeling very lonely, particularly at this point in time, and struggling with that. And some of you may be struggling with the loss of a loved one. And some of you may be having a very real struggle with, he didn't reply to my text, or she didn't say to me that she loved me. All these sufferings and hurts are very, very real. But in each moment, we have a choice. We have a choice to how we're going to act in the moments and days and hours and our lives. We get to choose how we act. That is our freedom. That is our birthright. And so often when we change our internal landscape, our external landscape changes as well, because the external landscape is really a direct reflection of how we're feeling on the inside. So remember, that's your freedom, that's your choice to choose how you're going to act in any given situation. And I do encourage you to think about where in your life you could let go. I'm going to give you a very simple analogy, because I honestly believe, based on our emotional guidance systems, our thoughts and our beliefs, we have the very real power to achieve our desired outcome. So often when we're struggling as well, we lose sight of all the opportunities and infinite possibilities and probabilities that were presented to us along the way. And when we're living in a more joyful state of love and hope and trust, we get to see those possibilities, and sometimes things work out even better than we could have ever imagined. So here's my analogy. You get to choose option A or option B. You're on your dream European holiday. You've saved for years for it, and you're so excited. And the final destination, or the piece de la resistance, is Paris. And the problem is, well, you've done your Excel spreadsheet. You have a list of everything that's going to happen, the times and the dates, but your goal is one of those big red double-decker tour buses that is going to take you around all the sights of Paris that you'd always dreamed of and seen in books and romanticized in movies. But the only problem is the tour operator said you can't have a seat allocation. It's really first in, first serve. And you want row 1A upstairs on the double-decker tour bus around Paris. And you fret over this and you don't enjoy your trip to Paris. And then you start to worry, what if Paris is smelly and it's dangerous, and your favorite food, which is French fries in Paris, actually tastes terrible. Nothing like French fries at all, which is kind of ironic because you are in France anyway. And what if in fact you missed out on seat 1A upstairs and you got seat D3 downstairs and sat next to a very undesirable character, and you couldn't even see out the window and you missed all the sights that you'd always dreamed of and you ran out of time? Or option B, you set your intention to get seat 1A upstairs. You're determined to enjoy Paris. You're determined to meet wonderful people, and you enjoy all the beautiful smells, and it's not dangerous, it's safe, and you have the most wonderful time, and you have the most beautiful frites you've ever tried in your life, and the most beautiful pastries, just as like you've seen in the movies. And you don't get seat 1A, but you actually get seat D3 downstairs. But guess what? You get to meet your soulmate, and you sit next to your soulmate and you start this conversation that changes your life. Anything is possible and everything is probable. And when you surrender, when you let go sometimes of the negative mind chatter that tries to control your life and your situation, trust me, it's a lot easier. It's a lot easier to swim downstream than upstream. It's a lot easier not to swim against the currents. It's a lot easier to choose love over fear. It's a lot easier to surrender than suffer. You don't need to fight anymore. It doesn't have to be that hard. And while your external world is raging around you, you can offer your internal world peace. And it's then with that change that starts to have a ripple effect on your external landscape. And not only do you get seat 1A upstairs on the double-decker bus, but you also get to sit next to your soulmate. Here's a quote that I'd like to read you, and it's so appropriate, from a Disney movie that many of you may have seen, from Frozen. The song's called Let It Go, and I'm not going to sing lyrics because I have the worst singing voice ever, but I will read you a short phrase from the lyrics. Let it go, let it go. It's funny how some distance makes everything seem so small. And the fears that once controlled me can't get to me at all. It's time to see what I can do to test the limits and break through. No right, no wrong, no rules for me. I'm free. Let it go. So I encourage you to ask yourself, where in your life can you let go of control? Where in your life can you surrender? And where in your life can you be more free? Ask yourself the question, what is this thing or place or event that I'm so determined to achieve? And if I surrender to it, will it make a difference? And if I don't achieve it, how will I feel? Big questions with big answers. This is your life and you have the freedom to choose in each and every moment. I would encourage you to surrender and let it go. Sometimes it makes life so much easier. Again, based on your emotional guidance system, living in a more joyful state, a more happy state, I can almost guarantee you that you will achieve your goals. And if you don't achieve your goals, something better will be around the corner. This is the law of energy, and this is the law of the universe. Life can be a struggle for many of us. Life can be filled with sorrow and grief, but it can also be filled with great joy. Start baby steps, start small, and start today to live a more fulfilling life and a more joyful life and a happier life. It's your choice right here, right now. Thank you so much for listening to me. And when you surrender and when you let go, sometimes you open yourself to greater possibilities and probabilities When one door closes, another door opens. So until next week, leave a comment below or ask me a question and I'll answer it. Thank you so much for listening. Take care. Bye for now.